and welcome back to the We'll Take It From Here podcast. Another week, another episode. However, first, we are going to bring you our show's sponsor, because this episode is brought to you by Honest Supplements. Now, Joe, what's Honest Supplements? Well, let me tell you. In a world that is plagued by new illness outbreak every other day, it's important to keep your body performing at its best with the right vitamins and supplements. However, these products can get expensive, especially with rising prices all around us. Honest Supplements has resolved that problem. They mark up all products by just $1, saving their members an average of 50% per product. Yes, that means that the protein you're paying $60 for is only $30 on their website. They have everything from vitamins, sports supplements, recovery, weight loss, CBD, and so much more. Timmy and I are both members and can advocate for the amount of money that you will save. And do we also mention that their products are third-party lab tested? Because that's the only true way to prove vitamins and supplements actually contain the ingredients that they claim. Don't wait. Go to Honest Supplements right now to join today and start taking better care of your health. And it's right. If you train jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, or just in the gym, you better be taking Honest Supplements. So go to their website, guys. All right. Now it's time for the show. We're back, folks. We'll take it from here. Episode 214, Joe and Timmy. We have a special guest. Again, recurring guest, the man, Dr. Gus. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me again.
Absolutely. And, folks, if you already know, we don't really need to do an introduction here. If you haven't already, episodes 10, I believe, 71, and I think 18 and 210. All the prior episodes with Dr. Gus here. We're going to have a really cool topic for you. Actually, it's going to be very relevant to what's going on, not only in the past decade, but currently right now. It is January 31st, 2026. So we're going to be talking about Psyops, or psychological operations. So buckle down and, open up your minds. So, Doctor, we'll just get into it. You have a lot of good notes here, right? And we're about to talk about the Psyops.
How to write some stuff down. It's hard to keep everything in my memory as I age, but and actually, it's written down so I could feel free to what's appropriate to tell you versus what it's not. But just know that psychology, if you're trained in it and you're good at it, there's two ways it could go. One, you could use all these techniques to actually help people and build people up, or you could actually use it to shape people's behavior in any way you want. Mm-hmm. So there's techniques that are used for good, but they're also used for what I call dark psychology. And they're used by a lot about what are intelligence agencies. They're used by corporations that hire psychologists to shape people's behavior one way or the other.
That's more like a marketing scheme almost, right? Or a technique.
A nefarious marketing scheme. Yeah. It was like, for example, I could tell you what I would have done to get people to cooperate with a vaccine. It was done with COVID, the COVID vaccine. Irrelevant if you think it's good or not, that's up to you. However, I could shape your behavior to want to get it. And as a matter of fact, in the beginning, people were in line to get it. So you have to create an artificial shortage. This works. You could get your life back. However, we don't have enough. You have to line up for it. And people will be breaking each other's houses, whatever, breaking through the doors to get it, okay? And it worked like that at first. And I go, wow, they're really getting people lined up to get this. Because you create an urgency. And then what happened, all of a sudden, we have more than enough. There's no more lines. If you remember Morris County College, I kind of knew COVID wasn't that bad because they had the parking lot as a triage center. So the way it was put out there on the media and on the internet, it is so bad that people are dying left and right, and people want to get in for treatment. They can't. And in Morris County College, there wasn't even one car lined up there. I'd expect it to go all the way down Route 10, past people lined up, people dying, and I was bored. I would take a ride, it was nice. Nobody's there. Nobody's there the first day, second day, nobody. After about a couple of weeks, they closed it down. So I knew right there it was beyond what they were saying in regards to that from what I saw. But then what happens is, then you force people. We have a lot of vaccines, and now you're forced to take it, or you'll lose your job. You can't go to church. You can't do this. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So think about what I just said. You could use it. What's the appropriate way to do that? Say with the vaccine. Educate people. Say, look, we just put this out. This is something new. We had some problems doing this, and that. However, if you're a healthy, young adult like you guys, with no health issues, your chances of dying of COVID are remote. Mm-hmm. Have some people die? Sure. I mean, when I worked in the hospital setting, we would get teenagers dying of the flu, healthy teenagers, every single year. But that's an outlier. It doesn't happen that much. So then you can make your own decision, informed decision. The other thing is, think about it, and people believe it. We said COVID affects grandma and grandpa. What do we do? At least in New York and New Jersey, we put sick people in nursing homes. What happens? You get an almost 50-60% mortality rate from COVID because their immune systems are not good to begin with. That doesn't make any sense, does it?
No.
You have to lock yourself down because you're selfish. You're going to kill grandma and grandpa.
But we'll put them in there.
We'll put them in there. And they get you to believe what's not logical becomes logical in your brain.
Yeah.
I don't know who they is. It could be companies. It could be the government. It could be that all this nonsense takes a life of its own. And who's behind? One person is behind another. There's another person behind them, and it all cascades down to who's kind of pulling the strings where. And now it's easier to do than ever because you got the internet and with AI. So,
and you know what? Just a point there is you said about the outliers.
Yeah.
In my opinion, and correct me if I'm wrong, a good psychological operation or Psyop is to only broadcast those outliers to make it seem like it's the majority, and then you don't focus on the majority. So the majority of healthy people, you don't focus on that, but you highlight the one or two cases where the outlier happened, and now it seems like it's the end of the world.
Or if you want to shape people's behavior, you get young people that are very, very sick in the hospital, and guess what? They might not be. They might be staged. You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because they can stage it. They're legally allowed to do whatever in the news.
Yes, they're allowed to do that. And unfortunately, law enforcement's allowed to lie to you, but you can't lie to them. Mm-hmm. That's true.
So you're saying all this, right? The comments you just made, which is highlight the outliers. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing that happening again, too, in the latest topic that is in the zeitgeist of controversy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Only highlighting the good people that are getting deported and all this crazy stuff. And the kid that was whatever, detained by ICE and all that.
Because his father ran away.
But besides that, you're highlighting the one little outlier of what's happening out of all this craziness.
Yes.
And like with the one state that's having 2 shootings with ICE out of the 50 states, and how all the other arrests, only 2 of the...
2 deaths, actually. 1 shooting and 1 got ran over by a car. Well, yeah. Mm-hmm. And the other thing that you have is that the local police are not allowed to assist for crowd control and everything else.
Yeah, which is because the other presidencies where the deportations were happening, that they were not told to stand down the local police.
Well, Barack Obama deported 3 million people. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, but there was no problem.
There was no problems, and being because there was no media behind it.
Media was on his side.
He
even called the media my base.
And even with Bush, I never remember hearing it with Bush. I never remember. Well, Clinton, I was too young. I'll be honest. I was
no problems. No problems. No.
Yeah.
No problems at all.
Clinton was loved.
Yeah.
From what I remembered.
For the majority of Americans, I think because he was what we called like an old blue dog Democrat. He was a centrist. Largely carried on Reagan's policies. That's why he was loved, and he had a nice personality. I mean, had his faults, but anyway, the first.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, the first thing that you guys, I have some stuff we could discuss. How do you know that you're experiencing a psychological operation? And you guys discussed it. The first thing you watch is an emotional spike not intellectual, but emotional. So you're going to be flooded with sudden fear, rage, moral outrage, humiliation, or urgency. Like they'll frame it as you must act now or it's over. And the content makes you feel morally superior, or on the other hand, existentially threatened. One or the other.
And by the existentially threatened, are you saying, let's just say you don't agree with what's going on, but then they make you feel bad for that? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying, I'll give you a direct example. Your kids are going to get gay porn in school, and you're not going to be able to do anything about it. That's an existential threat. ICE is going to patrol your neighborhoods, and you believe that they're actually Nazis, that they're not doing that. So the left feels existential threat that way. The right feels the existential threat the other way. And think about what I just said: sudden fear, rage, moral outrage, humiliation, and urgency. So, see how, and what happens is it gets to people. It overwhelms their life, and that's all they think about. My wife has a very good friend. And now she's so far on the political spectrum the other way that they can't even have a conversation because she just screams at the phone, into the phone.
Yeah.
About what's going on and, how you're not a good person unless you do this. So she is brainwashed, basically. And whether you agree with her or not, it's really taking up a lot of her time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a key aspect I like to point out to people is the time, because what happens, right, with this the moral rage and all that stuff, it then overwhelms you, and that's all you're focused on, and you're extracted out of living your life. The mental energy is focused on the outrage, and that's why it's probably so effective too, because it's within your heart. Hijacks
your reason.
Your brain, your nervous system, all that is all focused on this now.
Yeah. So, for example, I'll give you another example. So the woman that got ran down when she was blocking. Oh, not ran down.
She was shot because
both of them were shot. You're absolutely right. So what happened? Here's the thing: you could both be right and both be wrong. So, is it a tragedy that people got killed? Absolutely. And if people say they deserve it, nobody deserves to die.
If you think they deserve it, you reevaluate your morals.
Well, take a look at it broadly. Did it have to happen? No.
Yeah. Exactly.
Were they on the ground to see what the officers were going through at the time? Absolutely not.
That's a key point I try to point out to people.
Because when stuff goes down, and I've had this experience, it's a lot different than what a picture tells you or what you see at the time when that's happening.
Yeah, because the video starts at a certain time where you didn't see what's before. But that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah. Not only that, but
that's an aspect.
If you do a simulation of where they train law enforcement, I've done them where you have to clear a house, for example, or you have to respond to a robbery. A person, get your hands out of your pockets, and they're not listening to you, and you got your gun pointed at them. You've got seconds, and then you will die if they draw on you first. It's like the Wild Wild West. Guys, it's no different.
Yeah.
So then all you see is you shot an unarmed man.
Yeah.
But if they complied to begin with, it wouldn't have happened like that. So, for example, when I get pulled over by a police officer, all four windows go down. I don't care if it's a day like today, 10 below zero. My hands are on the wheel. Mm-hmm. Hi, officer. You know why? It doesn't matter. They could pull whatever they tell you to do, you do. Because what's the worst case scenario? They arrest you falsely, and you sue, and you win big time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The worst cop I know does not want to kill you. The worst of the worst that I know does not wake up and say, I want to shoot somebody. Actually, they want to just go home. They just want to go home. And that's how it is.
I'm going to keep my comments to myself. I'm agreeing with you, and that's all I'm going to say.
I'm right there on the wheel. Okay, you know why I stopped? No, yes. That doesn't matter what you say. License or registration. Okay, officer. My left hand, I need to reach in my left pocket. That's where my license is. My registration is in the glove box along with my insurance card. Do I have your permission to move? Because they're like this. Mm-hmm. One wrong move. Now, if you start arguing, now they get more nervous. And that's what happens. Okay, then you give them that and it's the end.
Yeah.
Unless you have something to hide, and then they're going to get suspicious. Unless there's something visible in the car. Anyway, I don't know if we're off track.
No, we're not off track. I want to play devil's advocate.
Actually, we're not, right? And I'll tell you why we're not off track. Because when you get conditioned with such outrage towards law enforcement and you start taunting them, that's how you get killed.
And
I'm not saying it's right, but I could see it happen.
That's the key point.
Yeah. So we can both be right, we can both be wrong.
Whether it's right or not has no implication of what's going to happen.
When that dude, I don't know if it's AI or whatever, that one fellow that got killed, I don't know what he had, steel toe boots or whatever, but he kicking out the rear of the light of that. Man, that he came for trouble. I wouldn't even think of doing that.
Yeah. Well, that was actually the first time. That was a week before he got shot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The one thing I want to play a little devil's advocate, but I think it's along the lines, and I'm agreeing with what you're saying, is the fact that it's like just comply. But then it gets to the point where it's like this is where I think the psyop is beautiful on their part. There being they that you referred to. How. When COVID happened, we were told to just comply, but we knew it was bullshit, so we weren't complying to, like, why are you arresting a man who's trying to just paddleboard in Florida healthy? We're not going to just comply there because that's government overreach, but then a lot of people would say, well, he didn't reach for the gun, so why would he just comply now? So it's like the psyop is now being, oh, well, now you were saying fuck complying in 2020. Why are you saying to comply now? You see, that's like the argument that the other side, quote unquote, has.
And that's okay. But here's the thing: when you're in a situation where you're going up against police and they're telling you just please clear out of the way, they're asking you nicely, and they're getting piss and shit thrown at them, and they're getting stretched. That's one thing. Okay, but again, that's a good point because psyops work both ways. Remember, the sudden fear, rage, you could apply that to anything. You could apply it to COVID. You could apply it to what's going on now. Mm-hmm. And compliance, the way the right perpetrated COVID was, it's not as bad, which it really wasn't at the end, right? Okay, if you're healthy or whatever. The left said, unless you wear your mask and you mask up and unless you get your vaccine, you become a threat to the whole world. So they were morally right. Same thing. Same thing is framed in Minnesota. If you call somebody a Nazi long enough, you think that you're going against the brown shirts. ICE becomes the brown shirts. Mm-hmm. And you have an existential fear that they're going to lock you up in a gulag or jail, and then you justify it in your mind to go against authority. The key question that you have to ask yourself on both sides is people aren't getting along with it, right?
Yeah.
It splits us among sex, race, political views, sexual orientation, all that. You're split apart and you're fighting. Now, one thing I got to say about the immigration, if it's so bad, okay, and the laws have to get reinforced, both parties should come together and change the laws. Or why would you let 20 million Americans, or not Americans, illegals coming in, or undocumented, I don't mean to be rude with that, and not even vet them? Okay, it's one thing if people come and work here, okay. But it's another thing when they come in here and you're literally, you see some of the people that are being arrested. Yeah. They're not the best of the best. They're criminals and pedophiles, but drug dealers and murderers. However, think about it. Each side is so dug in, they don't even give an inch where it's logical.
Yeah.
Exactly. I like that. Can you repeat that, please? That was
They're so dug in, they don't even give an inch, even if it's logical. They dig into their point, and they don't care who gets hurt.
I love this aspect of it too, because when I try to have these conversations, is like, I don't know, maybe it was going to Catholic school for 9 years growing up, and like I start recognizing these. I didn't never realize what it was, but the psychological like triggers basically. Of like getting like emotionally motivated, and like trying to point out the exact thing that you just said is, well, we need to fix these laws and figure out together what's the better option moving forward, because what's happening right now is not working as best as it should.
You got to change the laws. You got to have a better immigration policy, and I'm all for illegal immigration where people get vetted, because this is my argument. I have 100 jelly beans, and I say, hey guys, Joe, you guys, these are the best jelly beans you're ever going to have. There's 100 of them in here, but one of them has cyanide in it. Mm-hmm. You can vet them, but I'm asking you, trust me, just
take
eat one. Eat one. I wouldn't do it.
No, without vetting it.
Saying. So you need to vet people. So if you take the most hardened person, and let's just say I sat with two people, I could get them to agree on there needs to be an immigration policy. Perhaps then there needs to be a policy where if people are working, they could pay some back taxes. At least they could become documented and get working papers, because that's been going on for years.
Yeah.
Okay. But you can't let people in here with giveaways. Now, you got to see why each party's doing it. One party may be doing it because it's cheaper labor. The other party may be doing it for votes. You'll vote for us if we take care of you.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so that doesn't behoove them to change the laws.
No,
they
100%.
should change the laws, though, because there's no immigration policy. You can't do this.
And doctor, not that it really, for me, it makes a difference, but not that it makes a difference. Like, if Timmy and I are arguing this, right, as American citizens, it doesn't make and you're an American citizen, but correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't you immigrate here? Aren't you
legally?
From Greece,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
legally.
So you're an immigrant.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so
That's
it's
impressive.
And the reason why I bring that up is a lot of people are like, oh, well, you don't know. You actually know what it took.
Actually, all my associates and friends that legally immigrated here, some of the doctors I work with, some of the people that I work with in law enforcement that legally immigrated here, they're totally against illegal immigration because they had to wait in line and do it correctly.
Exactly. That's exactly
And it
what he
wasn't
said.
easy.
Yeah, cutting the line.
You can't cut the line. Okay. Well, if they got refugee status, okay, fine. But then they have to be vetted.
Yeah.
They have to be actual refugee status. But then there's only so many you can take in.
Yeah.
And it's not a matter of color or anything. It's a matter of legal immigration.
That part is like there's a cap. There's a limit of what is possible.
Yeah.
And that part right there gets does not come in the conversation. No. And I think if you talk to a right wing person, you said like, yeah, there is a max that we can allow in. But if you talk to a left wing person,
there is no max.
There is no max.
And you let everybody and anybody in because they don't believe in borders.
Yeah, but it's that exact spot is left out because if you talk about the max at all, then that's the common ground. Because you can find a common ground. Well, I think we should have 5 people out in every year. And the left's like, we need 5 billion people every year. It's like, well, how about maybe 1 million? You can actually come to a common ground with it. That's why it's left out.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, when you talk about this, though, I'll tell you, it's happening all over the world, too. Not all over the world. In Europe, Western Europe in particular.
It's horrible.
They're getting devistated.
They're getting worse than here.
Much worse. Yeah, much worse.
What we would say about Australia?
Same thing.
Same thing?
Yeah.
Who are they being, who's being, well, I don't want to say.
Everybody and anybody except if they're European.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Anybody and anybody.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Damn.
The whole culture is changing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the goal.
Yeah, okay.
Who's ever running, I think that's the goal.
And
it's money's always behind it. Always follow the money, fellas, because if there's always money behind it.
I'm wondering if that's actually the goal or is that just what they're trying to use as another emotional trigger?
They could use it as an emotional trigger, but it's changing the whole fabric of a country. Mm-hmm. And color has nothing to do with it because it's irrelevant. So we're all from different ethnicities. I mean, you could have anybody in here from any part of the world, but we have to have a common language, a common culture, and we have to have borders. Mm-hmm. Unless you have those 3 components, we don't have a country.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because if people come and they're undocumented, they fail to assimilate, our country fails them. Our country's laws fail the very people that the left thinks they're trying to help. Mm. Because we don't have any immigration laws at the border, coyotes bring people in, they rip them off, they sex traffic women, and they sex traffic kids.
Yep.
There's over 300,000 kids missing. And there's big money in that.
Yep.
So I mean, that would be
just that topic right there, though, is a hot topic for Psyop because then the left comes in and it's like, there's no proof of this. It's like, why is that the hill you're arguing? Mm-hmm. Okay, whether there's proof or not doesn't matter. You should be worried that there might be 300,000 kids missing.
And they're not. It's open borders, and that's exactly the argument that where's the proof? And any proof that you come up with, it's always debunked.
Yeah. But who cares about proof or not? How about let's make sure that there's no kids getting sex trafficked.
Let's make sure we have a policy where everybody can get vetted and make sure none of this stuff is going on. How's that?
Yeah.
That's something both people could agree on,
Yeah,
right?
well, unless they're dug into their points.
Unless they're dug into your point, and then that's a psychological operation.
Yeah.
Right?
But the problem is they don't ever talk about that. They don't ever allow
No.
that because that's the common ground.
No,
Yeah.
there's no.
That's the common ground
People
that-
have been
that has to be
conditioned not to
decisive.
have a common ground.
It's always decisiveness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it makes
100%.
no sense.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
And with the Psyop too, like, and I think we'll maybe touch into this a little bit later, depending on where we go. But like all this that's happening right now, right? It's hiding something. We spoke about this a couple of episodes ago. It's like, what are they hiding? That's another psychological operation. We're not talking about the fraud anymore. We're not talking about anything. We're not talking about the FBI went to Georgia for the votes, right, on 2020 election. No one's talking about any of this because
and the fraud. You're right.
yeah.
Well, think about it. Here's something for you. And then politicians can use the psyop to their advantage, knowing that something's going on. Let me give you an example. So when Biden was in, the left wanted everybody to get an electric car. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Everybody. And they were pushing it by 2030, whatever. Everybody's going to be driving.
The 2030.
Okay, gas went up. The most I paid for 93 octane was, I think, $6.80 a gallon. Okay. Got to get an electric car. We all agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do I get the left to start burning electric cars down?
Put
Trump
Elon
becomes
Musk.
very close to Elon Musk. Now they're starting to burn electric cars down. How does that happen? That was their hero. So lo and behold, that goes on, and they go, all right, we're going to tap the brakes on. How are we going to tap the brakes on? You go and you criticize me. So Musk starts, criticizing Trump. The left backs off. Everything's hunky-dory. Do you see what I mean?
Oh, and I actually never thought of it from that perspective.
Well, they never got into a fight. You don't ever think that there's too much money being exchanged with SpaceX and everything. That was staged to get them off. But my point is, Doge was discovered. All this stuff. It was going great. People should have been outraged. And like you said, they're dug in. They're not going to... And the right gets dug in too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Everyone does.
Everyone
gets
does.
dug in, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not picking on one side versus the other, but everybody. But let me go to the second one. Maybe we could discuss a little bit. Notice repetition across supposedly independent sources, news sources. It could be same phrases.
Yeah.
They use the same phrases, same metaphors, same framing, same villains and heroes. And and remember one thing that I want to teach you here: truth spreads messily. Slowly and messy. Messaging spreads cleanly.
Okay.
If it's too clean, be suspicious.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all right,
Beyond any doubt that we have blah, blah, blah.
and then every news station says that same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But maybe with a little bit different twist because they don't want to lose their audience.
Okay.
Like
okay.
CNN's got to watch because they'll lose the left or whatever they have left. MSNBC, same thing. Fox, same thing.
Before we turn it, so what were the key points on this page? Just as a
Notice
summary
repetition
recap.
across supposedly independent sources. Same phrases, same metaphors, same framing, same villains and heroes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you could twist the villains and heroes. Okay?
It's
For
the
example,
same people.
ICE looks like the villain when you listen to MSNBC. Don Lemon looks like a hero when you listen to the left-leaning ones. But he looks like the KKK for raiding the church when you listen to more right wings. What is the truth? Mm-hmm. The truth is attention. Attention. They wanted attention to that. And knowing that he's saying, I'm part of the press. You can't touch me. Now we touch him. We arrest him. And the saga goes on. They did this. The system did the same thing to Trump when they raided Mar-a-Lago, right?
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
get
for
him
sure.
behind. We'll get him into Rikers Island. I said, it's probably the wrong thing to do because he's very popular to the point where he can win. So my friends on the left thought I was insane. I said, this is the wrong tact. What is the right tact? I said, you had it for a little bit if you wanted to get rid of Trump. What was it? When you blacked him out and he couldn't speak, nobody was listening to him.
Yeah.
But see, you couldn't do it and he knew that. You couldn't black him out because that's where your audience lies in him when you're on the right. You know, say right-leaning stations favor him. Left-leaning stations put him down. And that's where people, they've been so conditioned, that's where they tune in. They couldn't afford it. Trump knew that, and he always had the voice, even though they took him off Twitter, they took him off all the platforms, and they debanked him. Mm-hmm. They debanked him. He couldn't. If it wasn't for crypto, he couldn't do any business.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I read Eric Trump's book. It was, and not just to him, but to his kids and all his businesses.
Yeah, that's messed up. And also keeping in mind with that too, with censorship, when Musk bought Twitter, which is now X, right? He was able to get rid of all the people who were silencing and censoring information. Correct. So now that was a big help. That was a big help.
Yeah. But yeah, that's
in
what
general,
happens.
By the way, not just to help
for
Trump,
everybody. And
general.
the left should have a clean voice too. Just don't threaten people.
Yeah.
Don't bodily threaten people. Don't get it to the point where people are being swatted. Or I don't like violence. And don't forget one thing: the misnomer is we have a right to protest. No, you don't. The Constitution guarantees the right to peaceful assembly. Not where you block roads, not where you throw Molotov cocktails, not where you spit on people.
Yeah.
And that works for both sides. You have the right to peaceful assembly. That's what
true.
You have a right to.
That is true. Yeah. It's in the Constitution.
So you get that one, right? Let's see if we could do a few more without getting too bored. But I don't think it's that.
No, this is great. And I think this is correlating. This is just going very well from what's happening.
The other thing that you look for is called identity binding. And that's what leads to tribalism. Nowadays, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he said, look, years ago, I wouldn't care if you voted for Clinton versus Bush, Clinton versus who cared? And we really didn't back then. I got to be honest with you. You could be on the side of Ronald Reagan or Jimmy Carter. We could care less. Nowadays, you have to pick a side. So, whether you like him or not, Barack Obama predicted that years ago. He often criticized the media that was on the right. He said, if I listened to Fox, I wouldn't vote for myself either. And what's going to happen if we continue down this road, which he may have wanted to continue down this road, I'm not sure, is we're going to have tribalism.
Didn't he make it legal for media, that propaganda? So he wanted it.
So it was under his presidential tenure that Congress changed things. So it wasn't directly him. Like, he didn't write the law.
But he allowed
it. It was under all that. Basically, it was all under the momentum of being a Barack Obama presidency.
Yeah. So you look for phrases like, people like us know. Only idiots or evil people think otherwise. Right? Think about it. Political, moral, or cultural identities welded to specific conclusions. So that's what's happening now. And the last time I was a young kid, but that happened was with all the war protests during Vietnam. You had to pick a side. So somebody could have got drafted to no fault of their own, fought in Vietnam, lost their lives, or if they didn't lose their lives, they would come back to the airports and get spit on by what we call the left, were the hippies, and I think they were neo-commies for sure. That was a big threat at that time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nothing compared. Today is nothing compared to what it was back then. It was a lot more violent. It was a lot more widespread.
That's interesting, because I would argue, or I would have thought, I should say, that it's getting worse now.
Well, think about it though. Think about it. I think the way it is, you're kind of made to believe that way. But Minneapolis is the only place in the United States that you have those protests. And think about something. How cold was the weather in Minneapolis?
Yeah,
it's cold here today. I mean, it's like 15 degrees. It gets like 30 below zero there. People are still out on the streets. What does that tell you?
So I made this argument to a friend of ours. Okay.
I won't say it.
But hold on though, because this person, and I don't care if he can watch it, but
I don't care.
Let's play the devil's advocate. Okay. So I made that argument, and because I know where you're going for. Yeah. Bust in protesters, paid protesters, right?
Yeah.
So,
which has been documented.
Yeah.
But
who else would do it? Why would you do it?
This friend of ours lived in Minnesota, and I haven't. And he was like, "Well, have you ever lived in Minnesota?" And I go, "No." And I was like, "Well, I did." And there's people who will go out in that weather. So, devil's advocate.
Fine. Okay. It could be.
I snowboard it. I go in that weather too, but
the average person, unless they had a real reason, wouldn't. So let's analyze that. Mm-hmm. If they do, they mean business. Mm-hmm. They mean business to hurt police, ICE. They mean business. Mm-hmm. If they don't, fine. For example, let's use this as an example. Yesterday was the left's day of outrage against ICE. Everybody was to stay home. How many people actually stayed home yesterday? They didn't go to work, didn't go to doctor's appointments, didn't buy anything.
Yeah.
The vast, vast majority went out. They went on with their lives. What does that tell you? It's not as big as you think, but it's magnified. Same thing that was happening in the 60s is happening now, but it grew there. And I'll tell you why in the 60s it was different. Probably more justified. Not the violence, but there was a lot of violence. Because men can get drafted against their will. A lot burnt their draft cards, fled to Canada, didn't believe in the Vietnam War. And that was the impetus behind the protests and everything. So,
Yeah.
But to the detriments of our troops coming back, it wasn't their fault. They got spit on.
Yeah.
They couldn't get a job.
But that comes back to the moral outrage.
Absolutely. You're a Nazi.
You are not on my team.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Even if it's against their will to be doing what they were doing.
And it just spreading my opinion on things for a while, and now it's gotten better, but I couldn't even have a conversation with relatives or whatever. It'd be, shut up, racist. Shut up, sexist. And then what else? The patriarchy. All right, you're a patriarch. What would you know? You're, a straight white male. What would you know? Well, you don't even know me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a pretentious question.
Yeah, it is.
The whole premise of the straight white male, what do you know? It's kind of contradictory. The whole point is the straight white male is supposed to be the patriarchy on top who's done it all and controls everything, but you also don't know anything.
Well, if that were
that logical
I wish
argument.
that was true because I would put you on mute, but it's not.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that. But what's your perception of me is I'm so powerful that I could actually mute you.
Yeah.
And I can't. You're the one that's attacking me.
Yeah, you're the one that's doing the silencing.
And then women that are in their mid to late 30s, they're wondering why no men approach them. Really? The reason why men don't approach you is because we don't know how you're going to react.
Yeah.
Now, of course, that's different, but categorically as a whole, I think young men are afraid to approach a contemporary female to ask her out for a date. You don't know how they might react. So we've both been conditioned, and the females have been conditioned to kind of lump all the men in their lives kind of in that category. And I'm not saying there's exceptions to the rules.
Sure.
Okay, there might be broad exceptions to the rules. But think about it. That's why young guys are afraid to approach a woman and say, would you go out with me? And women also, they've been brainwashed in thinking that I could get the 1% of men. So they have their G-Wagon, they're loaded, they could take care of me, and I'm the best of the best. And I hate to bust their bubble, but if they're 35, 38, 39, a guy my age that has the G-Wagon, I'm not saying I do, but a guy my age is not going to even be looking at you.
Yeah.
If you've got everything. You know what I mean? And that's it. That's the condition. Guess what that's done? That's lowered the birth rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Among European countries, the United States, Canada, Australia, severely. And people say, well, with AI, what if we have AI robots and they turn on us? But they don't have to turn on us. All you have to do is just get humans to stop procreating. Within 100 years, they'll be extinct. And don't forget, robots don't age. We age. We'll get aged out.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
It makes it interesting on who's really running the shots in that case, because if the end goal would be for the human population to, at some point, will continuously decrease to at some point where it becomes extinct.
Yeah.
Who's really running the show?
Well, you got to understand who benefits from that. That's what you got to ask yourself. And here, the next one. Track incentives, not intentions. Don't ask, are they lying? You got to ask yourself, who benefits if people believe this?
Who benefits?
Who benefits if people believe this? Who gains power, money, compliance, legitimacy, or distraction? Who is harmed by not believing it? So, who benefits if people believe this, whatever it may be? Who gains power, money, compliance, legitimacy, or distraction? Mm-hmm. Who is harmed by not believing it? Got to ask those questions. Again, let's pick Minnesota. The fraud kind of went under the carpet.
Under the carpet,
always, Now, do I believe there's actual factions warring? Yes. Do they, in fact, sometimes agree to disagree and just let everybody keep fighting? Yeah. All that's possible. God bless you.
Thank you.
So that's that. Anything else you guys wanted?
No, I mean, I'm really liking how this is progressing, so we can continue with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what this is doing. This conversation is not that I haven't done this before, but I'm thinking about all the stuff that's happened this past decade, and in life, and trying to see what could be bullshit, maybe that I believed or didn't believe. I don't know.
The other one is be suspicious of simplified villains and saviors. Real life is structurally complex. Psyops flatten it. Okay, so for example, one group is blamed for everything.
Okay.
One solution is portrayed as obviously correct. Messy trade-offs are ignored. When nuance disappears, persuasion has replaced analysis.
When nuance
disappears.
When nuance disappears,
persuasion has replaced analysis.
Okay.
So you're being persuaded. You can't think out of the box to think, okay, well, immigration, how could we solve this? You know, you get the three of us, let's just say. I bet you we could solve the immigration problem and make it fair for everybody, including the people that are here already. Within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, we could have an agreement. We're not going to get everything we want, but it'll be safer. It'll be morally correct, I believe. And I think it would work. But if you're dug in and there's villains and heroes on either side, you could forget about it.
Yeah.
It'll be, yes, but that's false. No, you don't know what you're talking about. You're brainwashed, you see?
Yeah. And
so nothing gets done.
It's, what's the word I'm looking for that's big in psyops is, gaslighting. You're gaslit to hell.
Oh, absolutely. You mean from the movie Gaslight? That was an old movie where, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
you think you start questioning your own sanity, or your own
It's
reasoning.
it's fucking crazy.
Really?
You're like
You get that in relationships too, by the way.
No, but even now, so for example, let's take it back to COVID, right? We knew when the vaccines came out that there's studies that actually will cause heart disease, right?
Particularly for younger people.
And that we know that there's been documented cases of people dying, right? And that it's been the claim is that it's severely under reported. But now, 5 years later, you bring that up in a conversation. People gaslight you. It's like, what are you talking about? That's not a lie. And it's like, what, dude? Did we live in the same reality? But it's like you start to question yourself. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
The thing is, I could tell you from real life examples that I've seen where that's the case.
Yeah.
However, I have medical professionals that have seen the same thing I'm seeing, and totally do not blame it on the vaccine. Oh, it's just a coincidence. Really? Myochondritis in a healthy 30-year-old, and we used to see maybe 2, now we see 102. Really? I mean,
if you say it's a coincidence, you're an asshole. You're not being honest with it, and you don't even have to say it's from that. All you have to say is be open-minded that could be the cause. A coincidence don't happen. They don't exist.
Or, yes, I agree. And here's the other thing. At least inform people that if you're young and even if you get COVID, you're going to survive it.
Yeah.
The death rate, my son, who's great in math, told me it was so minute.
It was.
Very minute.
It was.
Now, do I know people that have died of COVID? Absolutely. Do I know healthy, older people that have died of it? Yes. Do I know many younger people that died of it? Not firsthand. Is it possible? Yes, because it was a novel virus that I believe didn't come from bats, but that was a gain of function.
100%.
Yeah, that's 100%. Yeah.
It's almost fact at this point.
Yeah.
But back to that, when these doctors are saying it's coincidence, you're actively ignoring a potential causality there, and that doesn't mean it has to be the case. It doesn't mean you're admitting that is that might be it, and be open minded to that. That's it. So we should keep an eye on it. If you just brush it off the coincidence, you're actively saying no. That I'm not even entertaining the possibility of that.
Yeah.
No, and that to me is just being disingenuous, dishonest.
Or even think about with COVID, some of the treatments, some of the medications, like hydroxychloroquine. What difference is if you use it? I mean, the person's dying anyway, right?
Yeah.
They're in a cytokine storm. Their lungs are overwhelmed. By the way, that's how you die of flu, too. Your body just overreacts to it. So why not use some of these medications? They're going to harm. You couldn't even mention that if you were a doctor back then.
No, well, because
you'd be a charlatan.
There was offices and hospitals that were getting money for marking that's COVID.
Yes, that's another thing.
And also, what was the other one? Redemivir?
Resveratrol.
Something Veer. There, it was something like that they were trying to push. I'm not the doctor, but I don't think it worked as well as hydroxychloroquine. They were calling people horses, right? Horse dewormer, which is
they were calling people, Joe Rogan. They called him
wasn't that hydroxychloroquine?
Hydroxychloroquine.
Yeah, hydroxychloroquine. And then also
there was remdesivir.
Ivermectin.
Excuse me. Thank you so much. Ivermectin
is a dewormer.
Dewormer, yes.
For both humans and horses and animals alike.
And didn't also I know someone I won't mention who the person is who worked in the hospital during the midst of COVID, and this person left because they were like they didn't know what the hell they were doing, these doctors. And they were just, we'll do this. We'll up the, what's it called? The
oxygen?
The oxygen, and it would blow up people's lungs.
It did,
and we're killing.
I had a patient that died that way.
Yeah.
Very healthy guy.
Yeah. So
once he went on the ventilator, it was all
the ventilator. Thank you. I can't think of these words right now.
One of my colleagues, he got it, but here's the other thing with that, right? If you had numerous underlying medical conditions, sure, your body's going to not do well. If you smoke 3 packs a day and you're shot anyway, of course
Didn't they actually say that the smokers had less issues with COVID because of the nicotine?
I don't know. That I don't know. But anyway, I begged them not to go to the hospital as soon as they put them on the ventilator. And let's put it to you this way. The OG COVID, the original, was really tough because your body didn't know how to respond to it. Mm-hmm. I had the Delta. I had the Delta. Yeah, I had the Delta.
Well, so here's the thing, too. Back to the list of what people say, right? Even though there's documented cases, there's research of this, right, of what works and what didn't work. You know what's another a psychological mind, for lack of a better term, mind fuck is people will be like, oh, well, those are anecdotal. That's just anecdotal. That you can't use that.
Anecdotal.
Yeah, but it's and it's like that's another psyop because then now you start to question yourself even more. You're like, am I going crazy?
That's exactly right. Where if somebody would explain to you, okay, you know what, you could do ivermectin. I mean, did you ever hear the expression, we'll piss on a spark plug to get the engine? Hey, you'll do anything to do it. I mean, as long as it's not going to hurt the person.
Yeah.
And as far as the vaccine or anything else, you need informed consent from a patient. So why not give him that?
Yeah.
We could go this way, but we could go this way. Here's the side effects. Do you want to chance it?
Yeah.
I'm telling you that as a healthy 30-year-old, your chances of dying of COVID are about 0.0001, whatever it was. But your chances getting myocarditis if you take the vaccine is blah, blah, blah. So you make the decision.
So then, just to play devil's advocate, I completely agree with you, but let's go back to the jelly bean example.
Yeah.
What if someone says, well, I feel silly even playing this devil's advocate. Yeah. Oh, but before you just said one jelly bean is there out of 100 and you wouldn't do it, but 0.001% chance of dying. What's the difference?
There is no difference, but it's more of a calculated risk. Mm-hmm. Cyanide is 100%.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
So that's not analogous, but that's a good point because they will use that, and when I try to do it, then they'll tell me I'm brainwashed. And I don't know what I'm talking about. That's okay.
Completely being just transparent. I felt really stupid making that analogy, but I just wanted to make it because
it is a stupid analogy, but people will use that.
Yeah.
And, I'll say because you got a much greater chance of dying.
100%.
With the cyanide, you're done. Why would you do that? Where with the vaccine, you have more of a chance of developing side effects as a young person versus dying from it. But if you still want it, have at it, man. Get your 10th booster. I could care. I know people that are on their 12th booster.
Jeez.
Do whatever you want. Yeah, do whatever you want. I don't, I've been informed.
Yeah.
I never had heart problems before. Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm triggered with this because I actually had a severe
Yes.
side effect. I'm
took-
convinced
he
I
got-
almost died.
So you had a side effect from
I had
the
the
vaccine.
J&J. I got the single dose because I didn't want to get it, and that was like I got it, and like
Sorry to hear
3
that.
months later it was pulled.
And what happened?
I was on the jiu-jitsu mats, and I got it on a Thursday. I go back Monday night.
I think my son told me about a guy. That
Yeah.
had to be you.
Dude,
Were you turning blue?
all I remember, I've had mono and I've had Lyme disease before. Both are excruciating fatigue and exhausted.
For a young person.
I was rolling, and then all of a sudden I just got a shooting pain stemming from my heart out the rest of my body, and I just rolled up into the ball. I couldn't even tap.
That would have.
I just rolled into the ball.
That would have
Yeah.
scared the shit out of me. Are you kidding
And
me?
here's the fucking stubbornness. I didn't go to the cardiologist for 6 months.
I would have ran.
Yeah.
I would have went to the ER.
So here's the thing that pissed me off is the cardiologist just brushed me off the whole time. You're fine. You're good. You're healthy.
Get another cardiologist or you'll
But
be dead.
the problem
I
is
can refer you to a really good one.
I probably is he in Morristown?
No, he's not.
Okay, good. Because the guy I
he's-
went to was in Morristown and was recommended by everyone. The guy's a fucking jerk
No,
off.
no.
Fuck
you. You need to go.
That
to,
guy really pissed me off.
Well, exactly. Let me tell you why you're
Love
right.
this energy.
You are right because a cardiologist that takes the stand, wait and see,
Yeah.
is not a good cardiologist, and
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. Because the heart can kill you faster than anything.
So I did a stress test, and what I said was, like, so after that, I would feel fine-ish, but like once I hit like my peak heart rate, I would just like I did not feel 100%.
Not like you used to.
Yeah, I still don't feel 100% anymore.
Okay.
I don't think with the heart, it's not a muscle, and it never heals. 100, it doesn't heal, whatever. But I was.
Or if you do heart, you're talking about doing heart damage. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you. Yeah, wrong.
So I was saying I only have an issue at my peak heart rate. We did the stress test. I never got to my peak heart rate.
they had to stop it.
He stopped it early.
That's not normal for an athletic guy like you.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is like I wasn't even breaking a sweat. Like I was just barely getting into like slight harder breathing than average.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is fucking bullshit.
Did you do a nuclear stress test or just a regular one?
What's the difference?
The nuclear gives you dye, so they get. a
No,
better
I just
picture.
did a regular one.
You really need a nuclear.
Yeah, and I did
then
that.
You need
the
an echocardiogram.
I did that,
You
and
need
that looked fine.
Yeah, I would. When we get done,
Yeah, we'll talk.
Yeah,
I got good insurance, so this. But the whole point
it
was
doesn't matter. Follow up with an aggressive cardiologist.
Yeah.
Now, I don't have any heart issues at all. I go to this guy every single year.
Yeah.
You want to know why? Because I want to catch something
Exactly.
when it's real little. His motto is, with the technology that we have now, nobody needs to die of a heart attack. Nobody. If you stay with it.
Yeah.
And I think you should.
See, that's the thing I like too. Is so like they say once you're in your 30s, you should track your testosterone levels, right? Insurance companies don't like that. You have to justify. You have to have a need to look at it. But the whole thing is, you want to track it before you start seeing a decrease. You don't want to.
They don't want preventative. They
Yeah.
want.
They want you to
Reactive.
be on
Yeah.
medication that's
SSRIs and all
expensive
that
the rest
shit.
of your
Yeah.
your life. Ivermectin, then what do you need the vaccine
Yeah.
for?
Yep.
And ivermectin's been around forever, and it's real cheap.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the
Yeah.
Psyop.
No, but
Yeah,
this is
so
good, though.
No,
This is
no,
all-
listen.
this is
Yeah.
great.
Let me tell you
So-
why this is important that you brought that up. A psyop could have deadly consequences.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Look at the two people that died in Minneapolis. Look at that. You could potentially have heart issues,
Mm-hmm.
and I gotta say, if you go to the wrong physician, and they let's say, does their political views influence their decision making?
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, it does.
Yeah.
Where if you tell somebody, I took the vaccine and this is how I felt afterwards, my guy will say, well, fine, I get it. Let's just see what's going on right now
Yeah.
and see what we can prevent it. Now, let me tell you why that's important and why you should do it, because you told me you're not confident with this doctor at all.
Yeah. Absolutely not.
Every time you get some gas or pain, or if you're doing anything strenuous and you feel the slightest thing and it takes you back to that time,
Yeah.
you're not going to feel right. You're going to get anxious. And the more anxious you get, the worse you're going to feel.
Yeah.
So you need to feel confident. So, for example,
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I go there, and I'm good for a year. He goes, you're good for a year. When this guy tells you you're good for a year, take it to the bank.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is you're doing a full actual workup analysis and understanding here is the full picture of what's happening with your heart.
Everything.
You're good.
Yeah.
There's nothing that nothing that we skipped over or cut short or all that. Yeah.
Okay, so let me tell you, I've sent people to this doctor, my patients, and he says, I'll see him today. However, here's what I would like and I demand. If I find something, you got to tell them they can't leave my office. They have to go straight to get the procedure done. Because how many people have gone to the ER? You're okay. Yeah, you got a little bit of a blockage. We think come back in 2 days, and you don't make the 2 days. One guy died in the parking lot of the emergency room.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So that's the only thing.
Whatever.
So before I send them, I said, listen, you gotta stay there. Don't embarrass me.
Yeah.
I give them the routine, and thank God they do. One guy has 18 stents.
Holy
He should have been dead 23 years ago.
18
stents. He's still alive.
That's impressive. I have a coworker. Is the stent? I don't know what he had. He had something put in.
It's just it winds the artery.
I think he has a stent and like a defib or something.
Yeah.
But his heart was oversized.
Yeah.
And then somehow it shrunk back to normal, and it was a lead, and it got pulled out.
Yeah.
And he didn't even know.
Yeah, you could go down quick.
It was apparently it was a long time. I don't remember how long, and he just got it replaced.
Yeah.
But it was like the heart's crazy.
So more than an oncologist, a cardiologist needs to be your most aggressive physician, and this is all relative with the psyops because psyops unduly influence people.
Yeah.
And smart people.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
And here's the key thing with all the Psyop talk too, because I feel like I try to keep all this stuff in mind for a while now. I think I started recognizing this with Obama because I would see how outraged the right was and hating Obama.
Yeah.
But he speaks really well, whether you agree with him or not. Like, can you at least give him that? And no one could give any.
I had no
room.
problems with what. As a matter of fact, I voted for him in 2008 after Bush because Bush started the wars. I had no problem with what he said.
Yeah.
I had problems with what he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about
But
it.
Talk is cheap.
But even but back to that's when I started recognizing, oh, this is like kind of fucked up. This seems kind of manipulative.
It is.
So like a lot of this stuff is like unknown things I kept in mind.
Yeah.
I forget what the point I was getting to that. But
Well, you say how you could get influence. So the next one you got to watch is language shifts. So language engineering is subtle but powerful. For example, the Affordable Health Care Act.
Yeah.
There's nothing affordable about
Patriot
it.
Act.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Patriot Act.
I remember my point I was getting at. So all these things, even if you keep these in mind, you can still get roped in because the psyop is so powerful.
It is. That's why it's important to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's important to I have friends, they'll call me, they go, is this something to worry about? And I give them my opinion and we talk about it and we process it.
Yeah.
And what that does is soften the blow for if you're a prepper, if whatever, you know something can happen, but you're more prepared for it.
Yeah.
And language shifts. It says euphemisms that soften harm. This is a great one. Euphemisms that soften harm. Mostly peaceful protesters.
Yeah. Mostly peaceful protesters as the building is building in the background. Yeah.
Exactly. The next one is check time pressures and moral pressure. Act now or it'll be too late for democracy. A threat to democracy. Act now. History will judge you on what you do. Silence is violence. There is no time for debate. Both sides use those,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So those are the typical talking points.
Those are. Yeah.
Yeah. A threat.
How about like when language is made up? Like I'm trying to think of I have examples in my head. I can't think of, or I had them. I can't think of them now. But how about like when language gets created? Like you never heard this word before, and now they're saying it every freaking 2 seconds.
Well,
like
the patriarchy.
Yeah, or something. Well, hasn't that word existed for
Sexist.
like millennia?
Yeah, of course it has, but not in a derogatory sense.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Maybe that's what I'm leaning toward.
Right. But that gets to people's emotions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But very smart people get easily get colleges.
Yeah, well.
See, colleges now, particularly Ivy League. I used to be impressed with Ivy League graduates. Not no more.
No.
Not no more.
Well, it's also a weird time now too because people learn so much stuff on the internet.
Well, I have a friend who's a MD, and he says, with my phone, I don't need college because he's highly motivated. I could learn anything and everything.
Exactly, yeah.
On the internet.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean anything. It certainly doesn't justify what they charge.
Well,
right?
do you know what? You know what's crazy about that? So let's take universities and colleges, right? You grow up being taught that if you go to a university, especially a prestigious university, that it's a good thing. There are a lot of smart professors that you can trust. It's right. We build trust when we go to school with teachers.
Right.
So when you go to university, if you're not awake to what's going on, you're easily manipulated because those professors are supposed to have your best interest in mind as a student. So they start spinning their bullshit, and now you believe it.
Only if you agree with everything they say.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. Some of them do because they're like, oh, I must trust this professor.
Well, the thing is that I had professors in college that you could disagree with, but the vast majority were liberal, but you could disagree with them. However, they might be, kind of snarky back, but you would never get to the point where you'd be ostracized on campus.
Yeah.
Okay, so take a look at what happened. And by the way, what happened, from the river into the sea, Palestine will soon be free. What happened to that movement? It's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about this was like a year ago,
See,
right?
you forgot. Yes, that was the flavor of the month. Take a look at it.
Now it's ICE stuff.
Yeah.
Because ICE wasn't going on then?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was all going on. As it stopped.
So what happened to that? And why I'm bringing that up, at least in Columbia University, students got the green light to harass Jewish students. They weren't even allowed to go into their classrooms. That's not right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened, you see. So that went away. That was,
that went away.
From the river into the sea, Palestine will soon be free. Outrage like you wouldn't believe. Smart people falling for it. Mm-hmm. Relationships ending, friendships ending because of it. And now you don't even hear about it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You're outraged, not you, but people get outraged on what they are told to be outraged about.
Correct.
So, for example, everyone's
now
outraged. Now it's Minnesota. Everyone's outraged with that.
What happened to Jeffrey Epstein?
Epstein, right? Yeah.
And by the way, they just dumped.
Yeah. They just dumped, and now no one's talking about it
because it doesn't behoove them to talk about it.
Exactly.
I've seen some posts. I've seen some weird
stuff. Not good stuff.
No, it's never good.
It was a lot of creepy people. And let me tell you, Psyop. Who's behind Jeffrey Epstein? What would you guys think?
I think it's a conglomerate of people. I'll let you answer first.
Yeah, it's. I don't know who the main power is, but it's whoever it needs to be.
The most brilliant, most effective intelligence in probably in the world out of necessity is the Israeli Mossad.
Yeah, the Mossad would be the
let's just say we want to influence Clinton or we want to influence a politician. So if we wanted to get a Mossad agent to influence them, how they never even get that close to them. Mm-hmm. However, what if we could influence somebody, bankroll them, give them their own island, put cameras all over the island, get them as human beings to come in, lay their head down.
They're very good at their job.
And they're excellent at their job.
Yeah.
So I think that Jeffrey Epstein was...
Oh, no, he was
definitely associated with Mossad.
100%. And I believe Ghislaine Maxwell's father was ex-Mossad. So that's been proven.
Because you could get to people, you can't get to people direct. How are you going to get close to Trump, for example?
Yeah.
Or Barack Obama? You're not.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that close. However, you could get close to people that are close to them.
100%.
Yeah.
But so I misunderstood your question. I'm sorry to know. I misunderstood your question. I thought you were asking me, because I think it's a conglomerate. Is the Mossad? Yes, absolutely. I also think our CIA, our FBI. I also think the most richest, probably all the royal families. They're all part of it.
Well, like
the
J. Edgar Hoover had dirt on every president. That's how they control them. Sure,
Yeah.
our CIA would love that.
Yeah. It's definitely intermingled. I think the way I like to look at it is the Mossad probably was the backbone of it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of branches coming off that all were integrated.
Yep.
But they're really good. They're good at what they do. And they're really good at keeping a distance to keep their hands clean. So it's hard to get printed back on them.
It's almost impossible. And our own CIA has always had journalists embedded embedded journalists that were actually CIA and intelligence.
Yeah, for sure. And you want to know another psyop too on that? Let's go back to Mossad, because we said Mossad, which is an Israeli. They just call it Israeli intelligence group. What's the psyop on that? You say that? Are you anti-Semitic? No, I said the Mossad. I didn't say the Jewish people. I said Mossad. But that's another psyop.
Yeah.
They just hit you with you can't talk about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's one thing that's I think the last probably about half a decade that's been a lot easier to talk about. They still do it, and it seemed like last year with the from the sea to the whatever the fucking Palestine expression is
from the river into the sea.
And I don't mean that disrespectfully. There's too many things to remember.
Right.
That was a big push with the anti-Semitic stuff. You don't see that now because of all this ICE.
Yeah, you don't.
No.
But that probably is only coming back up because it's the opposite talking point to get both sides arguing.
But then again, the Trump administration gets no credit for stopping that war.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, no. But they're never going to be. That's the thing. That's the psyop. Because what I gave this example yesterday to someone I was talking about. The people with ICE are pissed off because now all of a sudden everyone's pissed off that federal government agency is, what's it called? The federal government is attacking citizens. That's their argument, right? But then I think about it, I was like, so one, is that even happening? One, with the exception of like the shooting, right? We both could be right, we both could be wrong, right? But they're making this thing up where, they're just snatching up random citizens and deporting them, which is a lie. But that's the whole basis of their argument, is that the government is attacking the citizen.
Yeah.
Then I thought about it. I was like, okay, well, let me give you an example of why this is selective outrage. That was my argument. How about in Charlotte, where that man just stabbed the white Ukrainian girl in the neck, right? But here's the thing. How many times? 14 times that man was let out by the district attorney. So the government indirectly killed out. But since the news didn't push, there's no outrage. Right. So it's selective. Everything is very selective. And they're going to make you talk about what they want
and the
to
thing
distract
is,
you.
let's just say it's a racial thing. So let's just say that girl was as white as snow that got stabbed to death brutally by a black person. Okay. So let's just say the opposite, which is true. Let's just say whites went out and rioted and picketed and did everything. It would be seen as Nazi coming to power, you see, and then you get divided among race. And you lose the whole narrative, and the whole narrative was this. The whole narrative was, regardless of what color this guy was, he was let out 14 times, and he stabbed a girl in the train.
Yeah.
And she shouldn't have been stabbed.
Yeah.
If you believe anything less than that, then screw you. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's the way it is. That got brought, and then it got made into
that
a
right there
racial
is the
thing.
same thing with the people in Minnesota getting shot.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a tragedy that they were shot. Doesn't matter who you got shot and who did the shooting. Mm-hmm. It's a tragedy someone was shot. It's a tragedy someone got stabbed.
Yes.
The extra facts make it murky on the exact details of who's exactly wrong and what.
Yeah.
But overall, someone died, and that's bad.
That's correct.
Unnecessarily died.
And now
what's the solution?
Yeah.
See, they're afraid of that. Let's come
that
together.
Right there is the key part.
Solution.
Well, yeah, the powers that be are afraid that the solution is to come together.
Of course, that's always the solution.
De-escalate.
Yeah, could you imagine if people of all colors, religions came together and held the powers that be for accountability?
Oh,
they would lose it. They would lose it.
They would probably end the world.
Yeah, well, exactly. If they're not already doing so in different ways.
So what are we moving on to next?
Yeah, the last one is, the way to do it is do a swap test. If the opposing side said this exact thing, would I still find it convincing?
That's always a good one.
I love that.
That's a good one.
And if you're responding to who is saying it, not what is being said. So
yes, essentially, if you're only highlighting something because someone said it instead of like, got it. But you don't,
And here's the bottom line: accept that you can be influenced. Stay curious, but not reactive. Mm-hmm. Hold conclusions lightly, but standards firmly.
I love those. Those are really important to keep in mind. Yeah. Is to stay curious, and I think that stay curious. I think applies to everything in life.
Yeah,
I think it's really important with the Psyop stuff we're talking about. But everything in life is stay curious.
Yeah,
confrontation, learning jiu-jitsu, learning psychology, learning your job, or trying to figure out how to develop your own wealth. Is stay curious. Mm-hmm. Don't come into this approach that's just a coincidence and brush it off. Like we were talking about with the doctor. Like, be open-minded. Like, hey, this is the thing I always like to say is, like, have the conclusions. Right? That was the last one. Is hold your conclusions, but be open-minded.
Yeah.
Don't come into something that you know every detail and that you know everything and you haven't completed the thought. I'm very strong on the Second Amendment.
Oh, so am I, yeah.
But I'm open-minded that I don't have the complete thought, and I'm willing to hear it. I don't believe I'm going to hear much to change my opinion on it, but I'm willing to hear it.
Yeah, that's important. That's important.
Well, again, with the Second Amendment, you could come to some conclusions where we're both right, we're both wrong. I mean, certainly people that are, disturbed shouldn't have a weapon. Mm-hmm. I believe in maybe not mandatory training, but I believe in training.
Yeah.
Training,
Because they
100%.
hand you a permit and you never fired a gun before.
Training is 100%
So-
responsibility.
Yeah.
That's 100% responsible gun ownership.
To me, a true firearm owner is someone that holds gun safety and gun training at the highest value.
Yeah.
I also believe that with cars too. I think it's the same thing. What training do you get with
An
driving?
axe, a chainsaw,
Yeah.
everything.
But that is self responsibility.
Yeah.
Like even with driving a car, you do your 20 hours of driving before you with your permit, and then after you drive with a licensed driver for a year, and then you get your license. It doesn't mean you're going to be a good driver.
No.
Go look for more training. Go look to how to become a better at whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then the only question with that is, do you kind of require for licensing to get a gun, do you require some training? Mm-hmm. Well, if you don't take our rights away, like Jersey has a handgun a month rule, which I think is a horrible rule. Because if I want to buy 10 of them, why can't I? Why do you hold me to one a month? I understand the reason behind it. You don't want any straw purchases and you sell them or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. But if the trade-off is then you could do a background check, a person has maybe some training, knows how to load a gun safety, that's fine. But then don't use that. But let's see, the thing, when they say Nazi this, Nazi that, the first thing that the Third Reich did back in Nazi Germany was take everybody's guns away.
Yeah.
Stalin did the same thing with communists.
And that's the other thing too that you see in this Psyop coming out with this Minnesota stuff is the Trump administration is talking about basically anti-gun stuff, and now the left's being pro-gun kind of in the argument. And it's like,
What about the electric car? Same thing. I saw that too.
Yeah,
But now he can carry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing. I'll even play
what?
I'll play the devil's advocate, man. I'll even remember we're saying about like this is not devil's advocate. We're saying being open to a different side. You want to know what? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if Minnesota he was technically legally able to carry. But guess what?
Illegal or legally?
He wasn't able to legally carry. I don't know if that's true or not.
There's some outliers, like you can't go with a weapon
yes.
I thought he was legally allowed to carry at a protest.
But he have a permit though. Right? That's the.
But
thing.
he didn't have his permit or license on him. That's the story.
Oh,
now,
okay.
but let's
We
just
don't
say,
know, though.
but we don't know. But let's just say that that's the case. Okay, let's just say, I'm sorry. I will concede a fact. All gun laws are unconstitutional. The Second Amendment says shall not be infringed.
Yeah.
That is clear as fucking day.
Yeah.
Right? So, hey, you want to know what? I'll side with you on that one. Yeah, man. When Trump said that, he's able to carry that. Let's go an example back to the BLM riots of 2020.
Oh, yeah.
There were a lot of people of all colors who had their ARs and they were all loaded just standing in front of their stores.
Yeah.
But because they never engaged and looked for problems, they didn't have any problems.
Yeah, or the LA riots in '92.
Right.
Yeah, with the Koreans on their
On
store.
the roof,
Yeah,
the
they don't-
AR-15s. You got to, and I've seen. Listen, I lived through the Newark riots.
Yeah.
In '67 they burnt that Central.
My frat
Ward
house
Newark.
has bolt holes in the floor from where they had the machine guns mounted in the top window.
Yeah, the state
That's
police
sick.
had to come
That was
in,
my
or the National
bedroom. It
Guard.
was cool to see. Every time I woke up, I'd look at it.
Oh,
That's so
in
sick.
Newark.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
I went to NJIT.
Oh,
right on
okay.
Martin Luther King Jr.
Forget it.
Boulevard.
That was ground zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, and they had the tanks on the Irvington border where I lived. Tanks.
That's like martial
And
law.
my father was stuck. He worked on Delancey Street, which was in Newark. He worked for Engelhard at the time. So he had to get home. He took the bus. He didn't know how bad it was. He took the bus into work. So this guy was like an uncle of mine. His co-worker, a black dude, nicest guy. And let me tell you the difference back then. Fathers ruled the roof. Anybody got out of hand, you answer to the fathers. And he was both tough guys. Anyway, he had to put my father in the trunk of his car to get him through the rioters because he was black. He could get away. He goes up to the border. The National Guard lock and loads on him. He gets out. Mr. Johnson gets out. Hey, I got a guy in the trunk. You fucking got a guy in the trunk. They open him. My father goes, no. He had to get me out. He's not kidnapping me because they were ready to pepper him.
Yeah.
That's a true story.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
And I put him in the trunk.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the protest we're seeing is not as
No.
as
And don't
extreme.
forget, those guys were tough back then. They were
Yeah.
veterans. They didn't. Not much got to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Different generation.
Yeah. Anyway, so the other thing I want to go real quick, a 60-second Psyop detection list.
I think this is a great thing to end on. This is
Right.
because this to me is something.
Because we talked about some examples.
Yeah. So the one thing I was saying before too is like you always have to catch yourself because you can be on top of this all the time, and yet one day you're exhausted and you see something that pisses you off, and you're like,
you take the
"It's a
glass.
psyop."
Yeah, you
it's
had
a
a few too many beers. You want to go.
Here's a perfect thing that I saw the other day. It was a super fucking clip, and it was on my Instagram feed, and it was someone's Instagram page. It wasn't anything. It wasn't an official psyop, but it was their feed was showing me something that would incite my emotion. That's all it was, and it was a stupid fucking post, and it pissed me off. I was like, that's such a disingenuous interpretation of what this video is.
Yeah.
And it was a person commenting on another video, and I got pissed off. I was like, I know this is a fucking psyop. It's still bothering me so much.
There you go. You got emotionally wrapped.
Yeah, but I knew what it was. I'm like, but it was just like one of those like. So my point is like this checklist is really good to always keep in mind.
Absolutely.
I'm curious what's on it.
The other thing is, think about how bad things are. Like, could you guys be with a woman, let's just say, that had diametrically opposed views politically as you? It's almost impossible nowadays.
Yeah, nowadays it's harder.
Forget it.
Yeah.
You'd be constantly at each other's throats. I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
That's how bad.
That's how bad it's gotten.
That's interesting.
Well, I think
think about it for a minute. Think about it.
I mean, you could make it work for sure. You absolutely
the
could
key
make it
word
work.
is work. I mean, you get done working out. You want to work some more?
Yeah.
You want to have some fun.
Yeah.
But I think the key part though is where things are at is that there's no curiosity or open conversation. If you're open minded to a lot of people have like because it's the extreme levels of people having different opinions and they're not willing to exceed on any conversation.
Problem. That's what I'm saying. It's gotten
different
that
opinions
bad.
and willing to let people have their opposing opinions.
Sure.
It's gotten that bad is what I'm saying. I've seen it. Where before you could be like a Reagan supporter and, somebody could have voted for, very few people, by the way, voted for Walter Mondale. That's how bad it is. And that's that. And you don't hear anything about Venezuela anymore, right, guys? Remember when a couple of weeks ago when I was here, we were talking about, I kind of predicted it, right? I said that it might go into Venezuela next, right? Okay. Anyway, the 60-second, you just spoke about this. Emotional hijack checklist. Do I feel sudden fear, anger, disgust, or moral righteousness? Am I being rushed to react or pick a side? If you have a strong emotion, slow down because it's not good.
That is even outside of this in life. If you have a strong emotion, slow down.
And the other thing that you do when you say in real life and when you're out there, like every good cop, I'm sure your wife, she learned to de-escalate to a point. When you see the guy's shoulders coming up, they're getting ready to hit you. You have every right to defend yourself, but you got to de-escalate. And let's face it, you're only human if you're being pushed so much. I mean, let's just say the ICE agents, if you're being spit at, piss thrown at you, shit thrown at you, then you feel people have guns on them. You see a gun, you freak out. You want to go home too, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're in a hostile situation.
Yeah.
With authority. And this has been crescendoing out of control for a long time. Now, have the police made their mistakes? Absolutely. Should they be held accountable when they do? Yes. Are there bad cops? Sure. But like I said, the vast majority do not wake up and say, who am I going to kill today? Actually, it's the opposite. They're saying, how could I stay out of trouble today? Mm-hmm. They're actually thinking like a recovering criminal.
Yeah.
And the criminals have become the authority. Mm-hmm. When I saw a few years back when people in the neighborhood took a bucket of water and threw it onto a cop's head and doused him with the water, the whole bucket, and they didn't arrest him, they didn't do anything, I said, it's all over. Mm-hmm. Because if you could do that to a cop, think about it. What could you do to a civilian? Mm-hmm. Anything and everything.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's the emotional hijacking that you got to watch. But anyway, synchronization checklist. Are multiple outlets using the same phrases or framing? Did this narrative appear everywhere at once? Coordination beats coincidence more often than we like. Maybe like with Don Lemon being arrested. Who knows what it'll be today, right?
Well, and that's the other thing, too, is what's the expression? Don't let a catastrophe go to waste for the news.
Yeah. Look out for forbidden question checklists. What questions would get me mocked, banned, or labeled for asking? Is skepticism framed as immorality? Truth welcomes, influence punishes them, right? So if somebody is telling you the truth, they welcome your opinions. Think about it. You're being questioned. You're not trying to cover everything up. Ask away. I don't give a shit. I'll answer your questions. But then again, if somebody's trying to manipulate you and they want you to put the brakes on, they're going to call you every name in the book. Like I've been called. A racist, a misogynist. What else? A sexist. Come on. More. I've been called every name in the book. Over trying to forward an opinion.
Yeah.
With statistics and good stuff.
Yeah, but it's dangerous.
Just shut up.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth. We don't want to hear you.
You know, for at this point though, it's gotten to the point where they being whoever uses those words, it's gotten so saturated that it doesn't even mean anything anymore.
Well, yes, because if years ago, and two of my partners were actually black when I was practicing full time. Nicest people in the world, and to be called a racist hurt me because I know I'm not. Now if I get called a racist because it's been so diluted, it really doesn't bother me because I know where it's coming
There's a lot of dilution now.
Yeah.
Everyone's a Nazi. It's like
Yeah,
everyone's
so-
anti-Semitic. Everyone's this. Everyone's that. It's
Yeah.
like, what does it mean?
Right. And the other thing, even with Islam or the Muslim or Arabic world, people don't know that there could be Melankite Catholics, there could be Orthodox Christians in the Muslim world, there could be different sects of Islam that are much more radical than others. You know, the Wahhabis, the Shiites, the Kurds, and the vast majority don't want to hurt us. The vast majority.
Yeah.
But people home in. You think as soon as you see somebody that practices Islam, you automatically think they're going to blow up a building. That's not true.
Yeah.
It's the psyop.
It's
It's a psyop, right? Okay, so then we got the forbidden questions there. Then we have identity trap checklist. Is this belief tied to being a good person, smart person, or one of us? Remember tribalism? What I said? Would disagreeing cost me my social standing? So even virtue signaling, right? Even if I want, like you said, or I said, hey, Barack Obama, I mean, he did some good things. He spoke well. He was polished. You know, well, somebody from the right, hey, what are you going soft on me now? You see, you automatically get branded. You can't have your own opinion unless you're with the tribe, or you lose the tribe and you become ostracized. You see, that's what happens. Okay. Complexity. Are villains in a psyop, are they cartoonish and solutions magically simple? Is nuance treated as betrayal? Reality is very complex. Psyops are very simplified.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Is that the list?
that's the list.
Can you, for just because we had a lot of cool side talks
Go ahead,
in
let's
between
do
these,
it.
can you just without getting into, can you just go through that list again, please? So
The
we can
whole
hear.
thing?
Yeah, just the 60 seconds. Like just
Sure.
name each
Okay,
thing.
emotional hijack checklist. Do I feel sudden fear, anger, disgust, or moral righteousness? Am I being rushed to react or pick a side? That's one. Then we talked about synchronization. Are multiple outlets using the same phrases or framing? Now you're going to see that. You're going to see that on social media. You're going to see it on Instagram, Facebook, whatever you're on. It's going to be the same cartoon, same narrative, the same AI pictures. Coordination beats coincidence. Now, how does that get done? All it takes is one person to put it out there strategically, and it catches fire. It goes viral. Forbidden questions that you could ask if you're being banned, mocked, labeled. Skepticism is framed as immorality. How could you? On both sides use that. You know, it's the way it is. Truth welcomes questions. Influence punishes them. Identity trap checklist. Is the belief tied to being a good person, smart person, or one of us? Which causes tribalism, right? And then incentives checklist. Who benefits if I believe this? Who loses power, money, or legitimacy if I don't? Complexity checklist. Are villains cartoonish, and solutions magically simple. Is nuance treated as betrayal? Reality is complex. Psyops is very simple.
Love that. Thank you for repeating that.
Yeah.
That's a good checklist to run by. You should probably rewind and listen to that again.
Don't worry, we'll make that a nice good reel.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna make that a reel.
Yeah. Do you want some? Well, we went over public health, right?
Yep. Well, yeah, we touched the public health for sure.
Because I have to put hypotheticals. I don't know if you want to go over like a hypothetical immigration influence or an election influence. I have all this stuff, but it takes a while. So
I think we did touch that, right?
We touched that.
We touched that.
So whatever we do, okay, the content is going to be different, but the parameters and the process with a PSYOP is always the same. So whether it's election rigging or belief, or it's immigration belief, it's the same mechanism is always going to be the same.
Yeah, mm-hmm. That is true.
Yeah.
Now, I guess a good thing then here to end on, right? Because we basically spoke about what to look out for a PSYOP, what a PSYOP includes, right? How do we fix it?
I think it's almost impossible. I think it's always going to get worse because once AI takes over, you'll be having a hard time distinguishing between reality and a PSYOP, especially with AI.
Unfortunately, yeah.
There's people that are coming in. I mean, my wife comes in and says, look at this. I go, no, that's an AI video. Mm-hmm. The gorilla didn't go through the cage and they start sparring doing karate. Mm-hmm. But it looks real.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. I think the solution is the checklist and try to promote the checklist and it's the education. I think you said it earlier is truth spread slowly.
Yep.
What was the full expression? It was like slowly and messy.
Messy.
Yeah, messy. Truth spreads slowly and messy, and PSYOP spread quickly.
Yeah. So
and smooth.
Yeah. And smooth.
So I think it's promoting the checklist and promoting the things to recognize every time. And like I was saying with the example of the Instagram, that's just the Instagram feed that I was given. It's not even like a thing. And that the promotion there was just get me agitated to keep me looped in on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it applies everywhere.
Or to get you to click and get more views, and that gets your outrage. Don't forget, you're not going to click if you're thinking.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The other thing that you could do, let's discuss this. You can do a lot of things. Because we're talking about if we're going to put an end to the PSYOPs. It's hard because PSYOPs are always going to be around. They've been around forever. Look at the Trojan horse.
Yeah.
That was a PSYOP. Mm-hmm. Pretty effective one. Here's what you can do, though. Individually with your families. Make sure you have at least 90 days worth of water and food available. Make sure you have, if you're a gun person, make sure you have some guns to protect yourself. Make sure you have a crank radio just in case the shit hits the fan, power down grid or whatever. A generator would be great too.
Hurricane Sandy?
Yes.
Level 9?
All that.
Yeah.
All that. The other thing that you do is get together with people you trust, with like-minded people to discuss stuff. Okay, because that helps you emotionally, and it helps you get away from your phone, and it helps you get away from the matrix. Because once you're in the matrix, it's very difficult. The matrix controls you. You don't control the matrix. Mm-hmm. So try to get away from your phones or whatever. If you have like-minded neighbors, like I have my next door neighbor, I started talking to him, and I told him, I have a generator. If you need anything, come by if the shit hits the fan. Because the more welcoming you are, the more a community that you form, instead of this is mine, you can't have it, the worse it becomes.
Yeah.
So you share influence, you share resources. That's about all you can do. And don't believe everything you hear. And try to be more open-minded. It's hard.
Yeah.
Because the more you stay in the matrix. But if you do stay in the matrix, do what I do. I look at it as entertainment, like I'm watching the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
However, watching people get killed unnecessarily is horrible.
Yeah.
And that woman that got shot, her wife said, "Oh my God, I got her killed because she was saying, drive away." Well, you got officers in front of you. Your car. It's even codified law that a car could be used as a deadly weapon. Mm-hmm. Don't you think that that's what's going to happen? Mm-hmm. But you know what? She didn't. How many people hurt somebody and then think later, right?
Yeah.
Well, I point this out in that scene. Everyone argues like, oh, that she clearly was just getting away and all this. It's like it's the heat of the moment. You don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. Or
so like this woman saying, "Get away." She's in a panic state. She doesn't know what's going on, and she made the wrong call.
She made absolutely the wrong call. The right call would have been, okay, well, someone to pull over.
Yeah.
But she said, no, go.
Yeah.
That's the wrong call, man. And I'm sure if Alex, I think that's his name, Preddy, the nurse, if he could go back and know what happened to him, he wouldn't do any of it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Well, he probably would just leave the gun at home.
Yeah.
Or maybe not go protest at all.
Yeah.
Maybe
no,
not.
he probably would have.
Okay, fine, but
just
wait. Okay, yeah, to leave the gun at home. You're right.
I think that was the main thing that caused him to get shot.
Yes, but
Unfortunately.
so is kicking out the lights.
Yeah.
So is agitating the police. You could protest.
Yeah.
And there's various other ways to protest. The most effective way is to become a community organizer and get more votes for the side that's backing you. And you know what? The Somalis did a great job at that, didn't they?
Yeah.
Either you go with us or you don't get elected.
Yeah.
All right, because 50,000 votes could swing an election.
Yeah.
A state election, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you could get.
Yeah.
And always join groups that are like-minded that perhaps could try to come up with a solution, not just agitate the other side. If not, just stay out of it.
Yeah.
So that's the way it is. And don't talk God in politics to anybody.
Unlike what we did.
No, that's all right. But I mean, we have to.
Yeah.
Even with God, I always say, okay, you don't believe in, the life after death and Christianity or whatever. I said, so that's the easy part. You die, lights out. You ever get anesthesia? I did.
Yeah.
I wake up, I go, I got to wake up to this shit now.
Yeah.
It was nice. I didn't know the difference.
I had no idea what the hell was going on. I was out for 25 minutes. I thought I was out for hours.
Okay, so that may be the case. An atheist believes that. That's not so bad. But think about it. As a Christian, I don't. I believe that I could be in hell.
Yeah.
Unless I believe a certain way. That's not a good feeling either. You got to do things right, but that's what keeps your conscience going. Mm-hmm. And I saw one of your shows that you talked about your mom, how she was talking about you have to kind of look at what people are saying and you have to be in touch with yourself. You have to build your self-esteem up. Mm-hmm. She is 100% correct. I'll add to it, though, that you have to have a connection with God not to really care because you believe in a higher power.
She would agree with you.
Yeah, I'm sure she would, but I'm just saying that was because what I found, positive change in people, it's a physical change, a psychological change, and a spiritual change.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to have all three or it doesn't work.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, Doctor, thank you so much. That was great.
Thank you. This was great.
This is perfect. I think this is a very important discussion that all three of us had right now in the time that we're on, what we're in. But, the current circumstance. Yeah, the current circumstance.
And I think, too, this is a very pragmatic and, straightforward, non-emotional, just hitting it straight with the facts.
Right.
With no direct... we related to a lot of stuff going on right now, but this wasn't see why this is very structured and scientifically.
And then look at one thing. I'll leave you with this. Take a look at history. History always repeats itself because we could improve in technology, but humans themselves do not improve. Mm-hmm. If you read Seneca, the Roman philosopher, and you read his book, the same thing was happening in ancient Rome over 2,000 years ago. So humans actually don't improve. Our technology does, but we don't. Keep that in mind. So history constantly repeats itself. So if you read about the protests during the 60s, if you read about protests at the turn of the last century, it's all the same.
Yeah.
Wars. Humans have always been violent, actually even more violent. So that's where we're at. And just know that there's wars, there's sex slavery, there's pedophilia going on right now as we speak all over the world. Mm-hmm. Horrendous stuff. And despite of all of our problems, one thing is for certain, that this is the greatest country still in the whole world and that we could sit down and we could talk. It's not perfect by no means. But let me tell you, you try doing this stuff in Saudi Arabia, you won't be around for too long. And I'm not picking on Saudi Arabia, but many other countries too.
Right now in
China,
in Britain,
Russia,
in
Canada.
Britain right now.
Well,
in
you
Britain
pray
right now.
You pray in front of an abortion clinic in Britain, you'll do a year.
Yeah.
A 70-year-old grandma.
If we had this podcast
Scotland,
in
actually.
Britain right now, and I
you'd
post
be-
on
you'd be
YouTube,
arrested.
I would
Even
be
in
arrested.
Canada too.
Yeah.
Canada too. Yeah,
100%.
yeah. So
Yeah. God bless. Yep. Well, you have anything else?
No, I think we hit it all today.
right.
Heck yeah. Thank you, sir, for coming
right.
on. Absolutely.
You're very, very welcome.
Absolutely. Folks, you know, the Matrix controls you. You don't control it. So take that into consideration. Great topic. Great show. We'll see you next week. We out.